If you design parts in NX for additive manufacturing, I would like to show a few things about tolerances in the STL file to make the 3D prints more accurate. I am not covering the NX additive machining application. For production parts, this is the right method to use. Although an old format, faceted STL files are still commonly used for rapid prototyping applications. I export STL files from NX and use Cura software as my slicing program because it works with my own 3D printer. Between NX and Cura, I can also use 3MF files and OBJ files, but these don't provide any additional capability for my applications. They also use the same tolerance values. So let's talk about STL files in NX. I will use this simple cylinder to demonstrate. A point of confusion is the faceted displays you can get in NX as shown here. This is only a function of the graphics card to increase performance of large models. Let me increase the accuracy in visualization preferences to show the difference. This has no effect on the model or the file that will be exported. I click File, Export, STL to export this cylinder to an STL file. The dialog box prompts me to select the solid body to export. Because it is one solid body, I can select it with one click. If it is not one solid body, I probably want to unite it first. I start with the default tolerances, but I will show that these are too high for my use. Always click to enter a file folder name. I have wasted time trying to find my exported file because I didn't know where I put it. Always turn on Show Triangles to see the accuracy of the facets in the exported file. Without this, you don't know what you have until you have printed it. Unfortunately, there is no preview. You see the facets after the file is written. If you don't like the results, export the file again. The default tolerances are too large for my use. The resulting print will have these same flat sides around the cylinder. The 0.08 millimeter tolerance means that the inner diameter will be almost 0.1 millimeters too small. Let's set the chord tolerance to 0.0025 millimeters and export again. There are still flat facets, but they are much more accurate. To compare apples to apples, I am printing the two cylinders side by side with the same layer height, temperatures, printing speeds, and other settings. Here is the final result of the two. Notice that the first shows these ugly flat facets. The second is much smoother around the cylinder. This tolerance could have an effect where parts must assemble together, for example, where a pin fits in a hole. I made this part with a series of holes with increasing sizes, and I printed a cylinder with the matching size. I printed this part with both the default and with the finer tolerances. What I proved to myself is that the facets don't make as much difference as I thought they would. The difference is almost lost within the accuracy of my 3D printer. The problem is mostly aesthetic, but secondarily slightly affects the resulting tolerance of the print. But regardless, if I design a model in NX, I don't want my resulting 3D print to look like a science fair project designed in Tinkercad. If you have permission, you can open File, Utilities, Customer Defaults, Gateway, Translators, STL Export, and permanently change the default settings for the chordal tolerance and the angular tolerance. In summary, pay attention to the facet tolerances and look at the results before you print exported STL files. If this was helpful or not, please give me your feedback in the comments below.